It's gone. The 45-year drought is over. The Los Angeles Kings are indeed the kings of the National Hockey League. They are the 2012 Stanley Cup champions.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to another post-game live here on Time Dropper for the 2024 NBA playoffs. Before we get started, you already know the drill. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube at Time Dropper and hit the notification bell so you know every single time we go live or post a video. And, of course, follow your boy on social media, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Dime Dropper Pod. We are live still from an undisclosed location. We'll be home again tomorrow to talk about Game 4 of Minnesota and Dallas. And of course, if you're wondering, what about basketball in Figueroa? The Sparks are they're in full bloom, and you haven't even talked about one game with Edwin. What's going on? Well, Edwin's been so busy covering the team. I've been out of town, but I've been watching the games, and we will be talking about the Sparks in due time. And I'm so looking forward to doing that because it is just so refreshing to root for a team that's kind of on the come up and has young talent. So I've been really enjoying the Sparks, but tonight is a night for all of my Celtics fans. Now, Celtics fans, they mean a lot to me because I obviously went to UMass and it changed my life. I see a comment over here from Ben the Kid, says Judge graduated from UMass recently, man. Amazing. I'm hoping you're talking about UMass Amherst, bro, the only UMass that matters. Thank you very much. And if you did, salute to you. It's unfortunate that we didn't go to the school at the same time. Wait, if you had just graduated, that means you graduated in 2024. So would we have been able? No, we wouldn't have been able to be at the school at the same time. But, man, best school in the world. And shout out to all my Celtics fans, my Bostonians. You are back in the finals for the second time in 3 years. We saw this coming from the beginning of the season, but it just, I don't know, it kind of worked out perfectly for them. There we go. Hell yeah, man. Zoomass. There we go. By the way, if you guys are on Twitter, please come join me on YouTube. That is the place to be. That is where you can interact on the chat. That is where you guys can send super chats, and super chats are turned on. If you want to drop $1 or a dime, any donation is appreciated for your boy. But yeah, man, it's unfortunate because I feel like my channel started out as Lakers, Clippers, Celtics as like my top 3 teams. And it's kind of just ended up being Lakers and Clippers because it's LA and it's local for me. And the main thing is the Celtics fans and the East Coast people are all asleep by the time I go live. So it's been hard to kind of keep them around, but so many of my Celtics fan followers, besides like my actual friends from college, are fans of the old school Celtics, like the old fans of the Celtics from way back when that love my Bill Russell content, my old school content. And that'll always be coming, of course. As you know, I love Laker history, but I also love Celtic history because you can't talk about the history of basketball without covering that. But I hope that you Celtics fans, man, especially my people over at my people from UMass are tapping into these lives, man. I really am trying my best to give you guys as in-depth analysis as I'll be able to do in the finals. And it's always special, when the C's make the finals because, as I said, that is the only other state that I've lived in. So Massachusetts will always hold a special place in my heart, and I am behind the team for this finals. But let's talk about this one, man. Game 4, Pacers Celtics. Of course, as I said, this road has kind of been laid out for them. The biggest challengers, the Knicks and the Bucks, they both got hurt. Giannis was out. The Knicks got completely eviscerated by injuries. So, it had to be the Celtics. It was the Celtics conference to lose before those injuries and even more so after. So they had to get this done, and they did it in commanding fashion, losing just 2 games in the conference, and they get a big win in this one. And it just felt so much like Game 3. Felt like, it was a close game, but the Celtics quality would kind of take over at the end, and that's exactly what happened. Of course, Tyrese Halliburton was out again. And that was really unfortunate, that he only played 2 games of the series. And when the series shifted hands over to Indiana, we did not get to see him. And it's just sad, the Celtics, I mean, not for their fans, but like for basketball fans, that the Celtics had to play against each team without their number 1 option. And if anything, I think that actually hurts the Celtics in the sense that they haven't been tested much yet. Like they really have not been tested. And that's why I think Dallas is a little bit more ready for this series, in my opinion. Like, I'm not going to lie, I'm picking Dallas, even though I want Boston. I know I always say that winning 4 series on the road or as a lower seed is like improbable, but I feel like this Dallas team might be one of the teams of destiny. I just feel as though my eye test tells me that they're better. And the Celtics, they leave a lot on the table for me, but let's just talk about it right now. So To start the game, there was a little bit of an adjustment. Pascal Siakam was guarding Drew Holiday. Aaron Nesmith still on Tatum. Miles Turner on Horford. Nembhard was guarding Brown a lot. And I think that was to give him a little bit of a quicker look, stay with him foot speed wise. Ben Shepherd on Derek White. And on the other side, Drew on Andrew Nembhard. Horford on Turner. Derek White on Shepherd. Jaylen Brown on Nesmith. And then Tatum on Siakam. Turner was in that high drop coverage trying to take away the pull-ups, but he was still dropping just a bit. And then Horford was in drop. TJ McConnell got up to a typical TJ McConnell start off the bench, 8 points. Obi Toppin. Like, how many times did we see in this postseason Obi Toppin and TJ McConnell, come off the bench and give the Pacers a spark when they needed it? This game was no different. They combined for 13 of the 27 Pacer points in the first quarter. And even though the Celtics allowed 6 offensive rebounds in the first by Indiana, they were in the game and leading after one, 29-27, because they were 5 for 10 from 3 in the first. Jason Tatum had 7 in the first, and my boy Drew Holiday had 8 in the first, 2 threes right away. So right there, I mean, this game was really close. It was literally a single-digit game the entire way. So it was neck and neck. In the second quarter, Jason Tatum started getting a little more aggressive. Now, Tatum, again, we all know his major flaw, and that is that he settles majorly. He has the Paul George thing where he likes to go for the aesthetic highlight play and oftentimes doesn't make things simple, doesn't use his size enough, doesn't play the way that his idol plays, which is mid-post, mid-range. He's like another one of those modern players that starts all his moves beyond the three-point line, and oftentimes it can cause bad shots and just really more difficult shots that he needs to take. And there were some times in that second quarter we were starting to get more aggressive. There was one time where he had Ben Shepherd and he was actually posting up, went right into his chest and got an and one. That's the type of stuff you're going to need to see from Tatum in the finals, because here's the thing. What the Celtics have done so far is good, but it's not going to be good enough to win a championship by any means. They're going to have to tighten it up. They're going to have to play smarter, and Jason Tatum's going to have to take better shots, point blank, end of story. But at the end of the quarter, Drew Holiday and Andrew Nembhard exchanged baskets. Nembhard had a buzzer beater damn near to end the second. I don't remember if it was actually at the buzzer or not. Drew Holiday at halftime, he had, let's see. Let me read the halftime stats for you. It was 58-57 Boston by 1 at the half. Drew Holiday had 10 points. Jason Tatum had 16. Jaylen Brown with just 10. So Jason Tatum, good first half, 50% shooting, 16 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, doing a little bit of everything. But the Pacers, as you knew, they were going to give it everything they had. Desperation situation, win or go home. Andrew Nembhard, 16 in the first half, Siakam 13. Let me just say something about Andrew Nembhard, man. This guy, I saw him play at Gonzaga 2 years ago in the second row when he was with Chet. And I thought he was a pretty solid floor general, good player. But I did not think, like, not only that he would make the league, but be like this good in the league. And you had Mike Breen out there in commentary tonight talking about he's looking like a future star. I don't know if I'm ready to go that far, but the future is bright for that guy. And he just plays like such a typical Gonzaga player, high basketball IQ. He was showing some stuff off the bounce today that I was like, whoa, against Drew Holiday and Derek White too. Some of the best guard defenders in the NBA, snatchbacks, spin moves. It was impressive. He's got a good mid-range. He shoots threes. Solid player, man. And if anything, if you're a Pacers fan, I know you lost tonight, but this whole experience was such an overachieving season and a postseason. Of course, you got a lot of luck involved, but you got to beat who's in front of you. And I think the Pacers, captured the hearts of a lot of people. They played a very fun style of offense, and their defense was much better than we all anticipated. And of course, I think the Siakam trade helped that, but also guys like Ben Shepherd and Andrew Nembhard getting more minutes definitely helped in that regard. And then TJ McConnell and Obi Toppin, they really were incredible in this postseason. So I was thoroughly impressed by the Indiana Pacers. Let's put it that way. First conference finals appearance since 2014. And it was a great season. But we'll talk about them more in a sec. To start the third quarter, now this is when I started really locking in. I was like, all right, first half, I was a little bit not paying as close attention. But second half, I was locked in on every possession, looking at it from a Celtics perspective, because, again, they are the ones with the pressure on them. They are the ones that have to win. I mean, I wouldn't say have to win this game, but they don't have Halliburton. So, like, any loss that they have is going to be, like, magnified times 10. But Miles Turner came out to start the third quarter with 2 straight threes. And I started noticing that the Celtics were switching what looked like 2 through 5, but honestly, it ended up being kind of 1 through 5. They were okay with the Derek Whites and the Drew Holidays guarding Miles Turner. And they've been pretty okay with that for the duration of the series. It's just about like Al Horford being able to guard on the perimeter. And I think when they did this, I'm not sure if Al Horford was in. I think it was Xavier Tillman that was in. So they were, but again, the Celtics are very switch heavy because they have such good defenders. Then the Pacers, they were switching 4 through 5. I'm sorry, the 4-5 pick and roll, which is obvious. Isaiah Jackson will switch on a Tatum, and they'll put I don't know who's guarding Tatum, Neesmith on Horford or Tillman, like no problem. So a lot of switching. Obi Toppin continued to do some good things, finishing around the basket, being in the right place at the right time in that third quarter. But Boston, what happened with them is they just went ice cold from 3. They started out the game 7 for 13 from 3, or I don't remember if it was 7 for 12 or 7 for 13 from 3. Then they were 2 for 19 after. So they went very cold. And Jason Tatum was one of those people that went cold in that third quarter. He was 1 for 5 in the quarter. Jaylen Brown, 4 for 5. He had 9 points. But the Celtics got outscored 26-22 in the third. And the funny part is that they shot 36% and 17 from 3, but the Pacers weren't really, creating separation. Siakam in the quarter that they needed him, 1 for 6 from the field and shot 3 threes and missed them all. It's very unfortunate. And it felt like in this series, Siakam just didn't really come through in the clutch. I thought he had a pretty solid series, but he just didn't come through in the clutch enough. And without Halliburton, you need someone to take control. And they didn't really have that. Every single fourth quarter just felt like they struggled to get good looks. They missed the good looks that they got, and it just didn't feel like they had a true go-to guy. And that's on Pascal to a degree for me. But going into the fourth, you had the Pacers up by 3, and the fourth quarter was fun yet again. I have to say, even though this series was a sweep, 3 of the games were close and fun. Jaylen Brown had an iconic shot in game 1. Drew Holiday had that big steal in game 3. Then this one, we had some big plays as well. The Pacers to start the fourth quarter were switching 1 through 5. And there was one time where TJ McConnell was switched on a Jason Tatum, and he got burned real quick. But TJ, he had 2 straight buckets towards the beginning of that fourth quarter, or in the beginning of that fourth quarter, that caused the Celtics to call timeout. And the Pacers switching everything actually ended up bothering Boston. It caused a lot of ISO ball, caused a lot of tough shots. And Jaylen Brown, he hit a 3 that was disallowed, but then he hit 2 threes right after. So Jaylen, I have to give him a lot of credit. When the Celtics were cold, he was the one that kind of got them back going. Then we had a couple of controversial incidents. Peyton Pritchard got kicked in the face. I don't think it was a flagrant. And then Jaylen Brown smacked TJ McConnell in the face, and it was not a flagrant, which I thought was pretty surprising because even though he went for the ball, he just smacked him dead in the face, got all face. But yeah, Jaylen Brown, he was hooping in that fourth. Then there was a huge, crazy, 2-minute sequence of dudes losing the ball and getting blocked and just rush shots on both sides. It was crazy. But that frenetic stuff, it really favored Boston to me because the Pacers just don't have the same amount of talent. Sometimes, you don't need to overanalyze it so much. They just didn't have the talent. They just didn't. And the Celtics have 3 or 4 guys that would end up being closers on the Pacers, quite frankly. And man, 15-4 run for Boston. One thing I got to give Jason Tatum, I thought he was doing a really good job on the glass, and he has done a great job on the glass all playoffs long. And one thing I will say, even though I don't think Tatum had the best game, his passing has significantly improved every year. From the year, my sophomore year at UMass when I transferred, and that was his rookie year, and I watched him, he has taken steps in that direction every single year. And you saw that, for example, in that last game with that awesome behind-the-back pass, bounce pass to the corner. Jason Tatum has consistently improved his passing ability. Drew Holiday in this fourth quarter, my man, he made some big-time plays, as he so often can do in the postseason, and one to put the Celtics to within 3, 97-100. Ended up making the free throw to make it 98-100. Siakam finally had something going. He hit a jump shot from about 4 feet away to make it 102-98. I love Tatum's response to that, though. Straight line drive to the basket. Be aggressive. And, that's one thing when you talk about the Celtics duo of the Jays versus Kawhi and Paul, because there were so many comparisons when Kawhi and Paul first got together, that like Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are the next up. But right now it's these guys' time. 5 years later, we've gone to no finals and they've gone to 2. It's just so sad. Typical though, we're the Clippers and the Celtics. I guess that's just par for the course. But one of the biggest things about it is that they're younger and they get to the basket so much more. Kawhi and Paul George just don't get to the basket nearly enough. And even though we criticize Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown for settling, especially Tatum, they still have more juice off the bounce than those guys. So let's see. I'm reading the play-by-play right now because I'm just trying to remember those last couple of plays, because it was hard for me to even say like there were that many themes to take away from this game. Like it was just neck and neck the whole way. It's like almost like the Celtics had what's it called? Almost like the Celtics had, geez, I lost my train of thought. Nah, I completely lost my train of thought. Thanks, man, who texted me. Completely lost my train of thought on that. But what was I gonna say? They weren't settling. Or Jason Tatum, they get to the basket easier. That was my point. They get to the basket easier. But Jaylen Brown tied the game to make it 102-102 with 2 minutes and 40 seconds left. And I think that was when it was the frenetic period where Nembhard lost the ball. Nembhard got blocked by Jaylen Brown. And then with a minute left, Jaylen made a great play. Drive, kick to Derek White. What a big shot by Derek White. I mean, how many big shots have we seen Derek White make as a member of the Celtics so far in those 2 years, or in these 2.5 years? Plenty. And I got to give Jaylen Brown credit. It was only his second assist of the game, but he made a good pass. And then Derek White with the big shot. Andrew Nembhard missed the 3. It just didn't feel like the Pacers were going to get anything, at the end of the game. I did not feel as though they were going to win. When the game was close, that whole fourth quarter, I was like, there's no way the Pacers are going to steal this. Even though they went up by 7, it was just like once Holiday had that and one, I was like, yeah, it's not going to happen. TJ McConnell had a really good look at one point in the corner, didn't make it. And then, as I said, Siakam didn't really bring him home. And, man, they still had a chance, the Pacers, to get a stop. Tatum takes the classic step-back contested 3, to try to seal the game, and he misses. But guess who's there to clean it up? Drew Holiday, as per, to seal the game, and that was it. The Boston Celtics are in the NBA Finals for the second time in 3 years, and they win it 105-102. And am I surprised? Not at all. I mean, again, 3 of the games are close, and the star power just kind of went out at the end, and you could say the lack of star power lost it for the Pacers. How different would they be if they had to Halliburton? I mean, of course, Tyrese didn't do a very good job closing game 1, but it's safe to say that he might have gotten them a game. And who knows if even the games are close in Indiana if he plays. At least maybe one of them, they could have blown him out and had one of those crazy offensive games that they typically have at home. But it is what it is, right? The Celtics, you got to play who's in front. Remember, the Celtics still didn't have Porzingis. I know it doesn't matter as much as Tyrese or any of the other guys that got injured that they played against, but no Porzingis, and they still have the talent to get by. I mean, that's how good the front office and Brad Stevens did at putting this team together. But the Celtics win in a sweep 4-0 over the Pacers in what was a true cakewalk. No offense, Celtics fans, I love you, but a cakewalk to the finals. I mean, I just want Luka Doncic to be healthy, and even though I want the Celtics to win, I just want Luka to be healthy so we get a competitive finals where the Celtics get tested. I'm not going to lie, I'm a little nervous if I'm a Celtics fan, because they just haven't been tested like that, whereas Dallas has been through the gauntlet. I know the first round, we didn't have Kawhi. That was probably their easiest series, even though, and I say it's the easiest. Well, we did win 2 games off of them. Minnesota didn't, but we never got – I don't think Minnesota didn't get blown out. We got smacked in game 6 and 3, but even I got to give Harden and Paul George credit. Like, they still got 2 games, so it's not like Dallas has just been cruising. But yeah, Jared Allen was out too. So the Mavericks have just been tested more. OKC, and then of course this series, every game has been close in this series. Not like Minnesota's been a pushover just because it's 3-0. And you could say the same about Indiana, but like, no offense. healthy Minnesota versus Indiana without Halliburton, it's not even a contest. So I just think Dallas has been more battle tested at this point. But let's read the stat lines for this one for the final Pacers game of the season. Doug McDermott, 1 for 1 in 12.5 minutes, 3 points. Isaiah Jackson, 4 points, 5 boards, 2 blocks on 2 for 4 shooting. 15, 5, and 4 for TJ McConnell on 7 for 16 shooting. He took a shot to the face and it kind of hurt, or it definitely hurt. But what a postseason for McConnell, man. He best season of his career for sure. Put his name up in lights, captured the hearts of so many people. The little guy. And he is a feisty, as we all knew from his days at Arizona. But really good to see him do it at the NBA level and showing everybody, man, you don't got to be the most athletic. He's quick as hell, though. But you don't have to be the most athletic or the biggest or the strongest. You can still be a great NBA player, even in 2024, without a 3-ball as a point guard. He just does all the little things. How about Isaiah Jackson actually had some good burn. Had a nice little 2 blocks. He had one stretch defensively where he had a strip out of bounds off someone's knee and a block. 2 for 4 from the field, 4 points. Obi Toppin, 12 points, 7 boards, 2 assists and a steal on 5 for 9 shooting and 2 for 4 from 3. I have to say with Obi Toppin, he had a really good postseason for me. I mean, he's not the smartest defender still, but I think he had a really great postseason. It was a good move for him, and he showed what he could be. An athletic player. He can hit the 3, good cutter, finishes around the basket. He's great on the break and has good size. So good stuff from Obi Toppin this playoffs. I think, future's bright for him. I don't see him being a star or anything, but I think he could be a very good role player in the league. And then the starters, Ben Shepherd, he didn't really do much offensively since he came into the starting lineup. 3.3 boards on 1 for 4 shooting and 1 for 3 from deep. Miles Turner, man, I have to say about Miles Turner, he did not have a great game in this one, and he was really letting his emotions get the best of him, fouling a lot. And again, I noticed why he has so many turnovers every game because he commits at least 1 or 2 moving screens per game. That's exactly why. But yeah, every game, several moving screens, it seems. Let's see. Yeah, 8 points, 4 boards, 1 assist, 4 turnovers on 2 for 6 shooting, 2 for 5 from 3, 2 for 2 from the foul line. Let's see who's next. Neesmith, man, I have to say he had such a great playoffs. He really showed what kind of good role player he can be in this league. Great point of attack defender. Did a good job on so many different guys. 14 points, 6 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal on 4 for 11 shooting, 1 for 6 from 3, 5 for 6 on the foul line. So it really could have helped if he hit some more shots in this game. But I have to say, from a guy who didn't get playing time in Boston, this guy has grown into a solid role player in this league. And, I know his stats don't really back it up, but I was actually kind of thinking when I was looking at most improved candidates, I was like, man, Aaron Neesmith has improved so much to me. I really feel like he took one of the biggest steps this year. And I know his stats might not reflect it, but he was doing it on a good team, a much better team than he played for last year. I mean, he had I don't know, 1 or 2 less points last year, but he was below the, not even a play-in team. This year he's on an Eastern Conference Finals team, and he played great, and he guarded the best players in every series. And you got to say, the way he guarded Jalen Brunson did a great job, and even made life tough for Tatum at times in this series. 14.6 boards on 4 for 11 shooting, 1 for 6 from 3. Pascal Siakam, 19 points, 10 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 turnovers on 8 for 18 shooting, 0 for 3 from deep, 3 for 5 from the line. Man, it would have been nice if he had hit 1 more of those free throws. But, with Pascal, I think he had a very good playoffs, and he was worth the swing that the Pacers took. I think you should definitely keep him this summer and bring him back. But he only had 6 points in the second half, and that just didn't cut it. Just didn't cut it at all. Andrew Nembhard, for me, the Pacers player of the game. He's got a bright future. 24 points, 6 rebounds, 10 assists. Oh, my God. He was awesome. 1 steal, 1 block. Did turn the ball over 3 times, though, on 10 for 18 shooting and 3 for 6 from 3, 1 for 1 from the line. 46% shooting for the Pacers, 34.5% from 3, 75 from the line. For the Celtics, they shot 45% from the field, 32 from 3, so a little bit worse in each category, a little bit better in the free throw department, 79%. As for the Pacers, as I said, there's so much to be proud of. You come back next year, run it back, re-sign Siakam, and see how much better you can make the roster around them. But they have so many good young players, Toppin, Nemhard, Isaiah Jackson. Like, the future is bright for Indiana, and I'd be very encouraged. The only thing is this. You made it to the conference finals last year. I don't know if you're going to get back next year. You might make it to the second round. Hopefully for their sake, they make it to the second round. But you might not have the same favorable circumstances next year. And I know they had Halliburton injured in the conference finals, so at the end it doesn't feel as favorable, but like first 2 rounds were. No denying it. As for Boston, 9 minutes from Tillman. No O'Shea Brissett in this game. 9 minutes from Tillman, 0 points, 2 rebounds, 0 for 2 from the field. Peyton Pritchard, 5 points, 1 rebound on 1 for 2 shooting. Both shots were threes, 2 for 2 from the foul line. I have to say about Pritchard, if we were talking about like the whole McConnell versus Pritchard thing, who's going to win the white guy battle, and it was most definitely TJ McConnell. I think TJ is just better right now, but Peyton, Peyton's doing his job. That's all that matters. And we'll see though, because in the finals, you're going to need a little bit more from the bench from Boston. I know it's going to be about the starters and it's going to be about the stars, but you're just going to need a little bit more. Again, all your flaws get exposed in the playoffs eventually. And the Celtics, I've been always, even though I like Hauser and I like Pritchard, I've been a little skeptical on their bench this year. Now, of course, if Porzingis is back, that pushes Horford to the bench, and Horford has essentially been their starting center for this playoffs. And he's gone back to the finals, so salute. I mean, Al Horford, I'm so happy for him. Let's talk about Al Horford right now. Actually, let's go Sam Hauser first. 1 for 6 from the field, 1 for 5 from 3. It was kind of rough. It just felt like he was either shooting threes or driving to pass and not looking to score. And there were some times where he had a lane in the basket, and he just attacking a closeout, and he didn't really take it. So the bench for the Celtics, a combined 10 points. The starters, Al Horford, had some big rebounds in this game. 7 points, 8 boards, 5 assists, 1 steal, 1 block on 2 for 4 shooting, 1 for 3 from deep, and 2 for 2 from the foul line. I have to say, man, Al Horford, I've said it for a couple of weeks now, but I think he really deserves a ring. I don't like saying people deserve rings. You got to go out and get it. But this guy has won everywhere he's gone. He literally had a playoff streak until he went to the Thunder. And he won 2 championships in college for those Florida teams that I hate. And now he's back in the finals for a second time. He's got if he wins a championship, does he have a Hall of Fame case? If you combine college and the NBA, he's just won everywhere he's gone. And I've always liked the guy. So we'll see. I'm happy for him. Let's go with Derek White. What a solid game again for him. Oh my God, 8 stocks in this game, 5 steals, 3 blocks. Ridiculous. 16 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 5 steals, 3 blocks and 0 turnovers on 7 for 14 shooting, 2 for 9 from 3, 5 for 5 from 2. How about that? Derek White, 3rd full season with the Celtics, and the dude has been amazing. He has truly been amazing. Totally has changed this team the second he arrived. 3 straight conference finals since he's gotten there. Best shot blocking guard in the league. Extremely impressive. How about Drew Holiday? What a series he had. And he shot so well. For all the people that always like to point out Drew's inefficiency in the playoffs, he showed up in this series. He was good in basically every game. Actually, no, he was good in every game to me. 17 points, 9 rebounds. Talk about trench work. Guard out there getting 9 rebounds, including the big one that sealed the series. 2 assists. Just 1 turnover. And one thing I liked about Drew, I've always been critical of his shot selection. Felt like he was just playing much more into the flow of the offense, not forcing it too much, and just taking what the defense gave, and made big shots and made big plays throughout the series. 7 for 13 from the field, 2 for 6 from 3. Of course, the team that got Drew Holiday made it back to the finals. Of course. Oh, man. Doesn't surprise me one bit. I love Drew Holiday. That's my guy. I've liked him since UCLA. Campbell Hall, UCLA, Los Angeles legend. NBA champion, Olympic gold medalist, and maybe soon to be a 2-time champ. 2nd finals appearance from my guy. Happy for him, man. Couldn't have happened to a better dude. He just goes out there and does everything you need to win. Defends, rebounds. It's my guy, man. I'll take him on my team any day of the week. Any day of the week, and the Celtics are lucky to have him. How about the Jays? Jason Tatum, man, you know one thing I got to give Tatum credit for? He has rebounded so well in this postseason. Every series. And I don't feel like people outside of the Celtics media are talking about it enough. 26 points, 13 rebounds, 8 assists, 1 steal. He did turn the ball over 5 times, so he's got to chill on that. 11 for 26 from the field, 3 for 11 from three. It's not the best shooting game for Tatum, but they got the job done at the end. And he had some fairly big plays in the fourth quarter. Yeah, 7 points in the fourth, but Jaylen Brown, he was really the standout for me. 10 points in the fourth, and in the game, he had 29.6 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 steals, and a block, a little bit of everything, on 11 for 22 shooting, 4 for 8 from 3, and 3 for 6 on the foul line. Here's the funniest part, 50-50-50 splits. Sounds good to get to the free throws, but he also played 44 and a half minutes. So Jaylen Brown, you know, I'm not going to say that he's like conquered the demons of last year yet, the whole can't go left thing and this and that, but I will say this. He has definitely shown that he worked on his left hand. His bag has looked better, but he hasn't quite been tested. I don't think he's played a team like last year's Heat team yet, but he will soon, so we'll see. He can redeem himself. There's one more series to win, and then everything people said about you last year, you can talk all this shit you want about that left hand and all that. You have overcome everything. You will be remembered in history for the Celtics and in the NBA if you get that championship in a couple of weeks. It's right there, Jaylen, and congratulations to him winning the Larry Bird Eastern Conference Finals MVP. He and Jason Tatum have each won one now in the 3 years that they have, you know, named the award after Larry. So how fitting is that they've won, both of the Jays have won that award since they named it after Larry. So that's big time. And now the Celtics go to another finals appearance, just adding another to the storied history of the franchise. But they haven't won a ring since 2008. They've only won one ring in my lifetime. And a lot of my friends that are Celtics fans, like legit don't even remember that 08 ring. So like this is a new experience for a lot of them. So here it is, man. You have to win. There's no excuse. You had the most favorable route you could think of. You have one hard series left to go, and you're at home. Your whole roster is more experienced than everybody on their roster outside of Kyrie. You got to get it done. I don't even think Tatum needs to outplay Luka. He just needs to not play bad. As long as Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum play well and they get the help from the other guys, they should be okay, I think, to win this. But I don't know, man. We'll see. They scare me closing games at times, the Celtics. I just think they play with their food a lot. And they don't have the room for error against Dallas like that. But we'll see. I'm rooting for them. Jason Tatum, bro, here you are, year 7. You're still only 26 years old. I think Steph won a championship when he was 26. Isn't Steph born in 1989? Let me see. Steph Curry, 1988. So he was 27 in 2015. Okay, so he's like a year younger. It's still pretty young to lead a team to a ring, but he has so much experience at this point, like for a player his age. And here's the thing, like even if the Celtics lose, it's going to be so much overreaction, like, oh, they can't do it, this and that. But like, you got to just keep running it back. Like you're this, you know how hard it is to be this close? Like they're banging on the door. We'll see how it goes, but I can't wait. Celtics fans, y'all better bring the noise at TD. Here we go, as they always do, but this is going to be fun. Tatum, Luka, 2 of the best young players in the league. And Tatum, for me, you know, I had him, 5th before the season started? I don't know if I'd have him top 5 after this season ends. Well, if he wins a ring, then probably I will. But, like, right now, I don't know if I'd have that. But he's easily top 10. Like, he's just solidifying that year in, year out. Consistency is quite impressive. And I know everybody discredits him because of the team he has and all that, but you still got to perform. You still got to be available and win games. And he does that. So congrats to the Celtics, man. We'll have more content coming up. We will be previewing the series with a Dallas fan and a Celtics fan, probably SJ and Coach Million if we can get them because they've already featured on. But congrats. Pacers, amazing season, man. Appreciate my boy Ben for featuring on 2 of the previews. And all the best next season, man. You got a bright future over there. But this is the Celtics' time. They got to get it done. No excuses. But before I add people onto the live, because I will open up the floor for you guys for a little bit, I want to say, man, today was a really sad day in the basketball world. You know, Celtics fans, LA fans, UCLA fans, we all mourn the passing of the great Bill Walton. You know, when I woke up this morning, that was the first thing I saw, and I was just like, oh, my God. 71 years old, man. Like, that's not even old. 71. And, like, you know, you got to understand what Bill Walton means to so many people. Like, he's just one of the most positive basketball people there's ever been. One of the greatest players that we've ever seen. Of course, I have not done my studies on him yet, but he's one of those biggest what-ifs ever, you know. had Bill Walton not gotten injured, what could he have accomplished? But Bill Walton's such a unique what if because he actually accomplished what everyone sets out to accomplish and be the best player on a championship team. And then he got hurt. So it's like one of those really weird things. But like when you talk about it in the context of amazing NBA career, hilarious broadcaster, but ultimately what sticks out for me besides like his insane positivity and like his love of the Grateful Dead and the like, psychedelic drugs and like weed and all that is, you know, he's one of the great UCLA players ever, like the second best for me after Kareem, you know, one of the best college players ever. And one of the best, I mean, before Jokic, he was considered the best passing big ever by a lot of people. And I can't wait to watch him play. And you guys are going to see all of it. That's the beauty of the Dime Line. You guys are going to see all of it in the Dime Machine right here on this channel, breaking down the film. And I will post up all the links. You can watch the full games of the great Bill Walton, everything that exists. And that's the beauty of this channel because we're going to do a journey. We'll have a library of basketball when it's all said and done. What does when it's all said and done mean? I don't know. When I'm like 30. But rest in peace, Bill Walton, man. You influenced so many people. I really wish I could have met you. Of course, an ex-Clipper. Didn't work out for him with all the injuries, but absolute California legend, UCLA legend. Salute to you, my brother. And I really wish that they could build a statue outside of Pauley for you. But yeah, that's it, guys. Celtics fans, I love you all. This is my Minute Men and Minute Women. I hope you guys are listening and watching. And if you are, give me a text, man. I would love to hear from you guys. You're in the finals, and I hope you guys win. And I know I don't say that often because I think you guys have won too much in terms of sports in my life, but I did say that there was going to be a Boston drought for a while after the 2019 Super Bowl that the Pats won, and it lasted 5 years, but that's it. It's time to end. Boston, banner 18 to piss off the Laker fans. Peace out, everybody, and have a great weekend. We'll be live again tomorrow to talk about Wolves and Mavs Game 4 and a little basketball in Figueroa with Edwin to talk all of the first 6 games of the LA Sparks season.